Hi there, and welcome back to Inktober Tangles 2025. I'm Martha, a CZT, and I'm going to be leading you through a couple variations of the Mythograph Tangle for day 13. As always, we'll do two versions. We'll start with the basic example of the Mythograph Tangle, and then we'll move on to something a little bit more elaborate. I'm starting with a white bijou tile and a Pigma Micron 01 pen in black. And I'm drawing a long curve from one corner to the other. I shouldn't say curve line, but bumpy line with some curves in it. And then I'm drawing back down. I'm now extending a similar line out to the left. So think branches. This is a very organic tangle. So adding a branch on the right side as well. And then here on the left. Starting at the top, because this is what feels comfortable for me to do, is draw from top to bottom. I'm going to draw an aura next to that kind of center stalk, if you will, or that center branch. And when I get to the branches on the left and right side, I'm going to pick up my pen and go over them. And so it starts to give a more three-dimensional look. And this is something we do called drawing behind when we make a Zentangle. So I'm adding some more branches, left and right. I do smaller ones here at the top, and then I'm oraing down on the left side, picking up my pen when I get to one of those little branches, and then coming down on the right side and drawing behind, coming on down. And then I'm going to add more branches extending from the left and right side. And some of those, it's going to get crowded, so some of those are going to start to go behind other ones. Just always turn your tile. You think about natural growth out in the wild, things don't grow the same way all the time. So I'm really just trying to keep things different lengths and different directions. So keep these branches, I should say. And by turning my tile, this kind of helps me do that. So I added one more aura on the left and right side, and that is a completed Mythograph tangle. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill out the information on the back so I can reference this later. I'll know what tangle it is because yes, there are a lot and it's hard to remember them all. Now I'm moving on to the more complex drawing of this tangle, and I'm starting with a gray tile and adding 4 dots and then connecting them to create a border. And this is one of those examples that I've mentioned in my previous videos of where I like to combine a more geometric tangle with a very organic tangle. So this mythograph is very organic. So I'm adding another set of dots, and these are closer to the center. And so now I'm actually creating like a frame. And we'll be filling in that frame with a fragment. We'll talk about those in a moment. For the Mythograph tangle, I'm going to use this blue Pigma Micron 01 pen. It looks like it's number 36, so whatever color that is. And I'm going to turn my tile so it's more like a diamond. And I'm going to start at the bottom corner, and I'm just drawing that first kind of stem or the center stalk with bumpy, curvy, definitely not straight line. And then I'm coming back down and I'm keeping the lines, that space, pretty narrow. And now I'm going to start to add some little spindly branches coming off the left and right side. And just taking my time and drawing out and then oraing right back next to that line, back to that center stalk. And I tend to prefer odd numbers when I'm drawing, so I think I usually do 3 to 5 of these branches coming off of that middle section. I'm now going to aura the center stalk, and when I get to one of the branches, I'm going to pause, pick up my pen, and draw behind, if you will, that little branch. Now, I usually like to draw from top to bottom. I don't know why I decided to do it from bottom to top. Just whatever's comfortable. There I am back to my, I probably realized that did not feel as comfortable. Everybody has a different method of what works best. But I'm usually a draw from top to bottom or from left to right. Okay, so aura the center stalk, and now I'm going to start to add some more of these spindly branches growing off to the sides. There is no right or wrong for how many you add, so however you want to fill this up. And feel free to pause the video. I'm going to speed up the next section. After I've added a few more of these, I will go back and aura the center. Like this. And I will do that back and forth, branches out to the side, and then auraing the center a few more times. And I will see you when you're ready to move on to the next part. And there we have the Mythograph Tangle in blue on a gray tile. But let's add something to that frame next. Using the Zentangle Primer Volume 1, I'm going to reference the fragments page on 114 and 115. I originally thought I would do this Y3 fragment, but I ended up going with something else, which I will list at the very end so you can reference it and look it up on your own if you would like. So I've switched pens. I'm using a dark gray Pigma Micron in an 05 size, and I'm just tracing over the frame that was drawn at the very beginning. And of course, when I get to those branches that are from the Mythograph Tangle, I am just picking up my pen, drawing behind, and then continuing on around because I want that Mythograph Tangle to be in the foreground or at the front of this drawing. I'm now going to create a series of boxes in this frame, and the easiest way to do that is start in the corners. So extend the inside frame, like I am here, over to the side. And so you're going to have these corners that have been drawn, these boxes in your corners. So extending that frame line, and then this one just right there. I don't think I can see the other one in the other corner. Maybe just a little part of it. And yours, of course, will be different because your mythograph was probably drawn slightly different than mine. And now I want to divide up the rest of the frame. And I'm going to just start in the middle and then add another line on the left and the right. So in the end, I will have 6 boxes going across each side. And I am not too uptight about these squares or boxes being exact, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it and doing my best. I know that some people probably would want them to be more precise and even, but that's not something that bothers me about this. So just a line in the middle and 2 more lines, one on the left, one on the right, and you'll have 6 boxes going across each side. So I've zoomed in here so you can see up close. We're going to start in the corners and we're going to draw a diagonal line. And then on the side of that, 2 little dashes, if you will. And then I'm going to draw a diagonal and a diagonal line down from top to bottom. So here we go again. From the top corner or the outer corner to the inner corner, a diagonal line. On the left, a little dash, and on the right, a little dash, and then connect it with diagonals so you have a diamond shape. Outside corner down to the inside corner, dash, dash, and then 2 diagonals on each side, and we have a diamond. And I'm going to draw what I can in that bottom one. Looks like just that little line. All right, now to the left and right squares, I'm going to do the same thing. A diagonal, 2 dashes, and then connect with that diamond shape. So outside corner down to the inside corner, a dash, and the sides of the diamond. And it really starts to give kind of like a faceted effect. Reminds me of like Art Deco design, stained glass, and also, you know, just facets of a jewel. So feel free to press pause and take your time filling out the boxes to the left and the right of the corners, and then we will meet to do the last few boxes. So for these last 2 boxes, I'm going to draw them so that the bottom of the diamonds meet in the middle. So I'm drawing from the outside edge down to the center, then my 2 dashes, and then the diamond. Right, so that center point, I'm drawing down to meet it. and then 2 dashes, and then the diamond. I'm going to speed up the video, but feel free to press pause, and I will meet you when you have finished those fragments. All right, so our frame is done with this lovely fragment, very geometric, a very nice juxtaposition to that organic mythograph. I'm getting my white jelly roll in a size 10, and I'm going to come in now and fill in some of the Mythograph Tangle just to add a little bit of lightness to it and make it stand out even more from that gray tile, that background area. Feel free to do as much or as little of this as you would like on your own drawing. And now for the shading, I'm going to come in with my graphite pencil and I'm going to add just a little ladybug, if you will, where the fragment lines meet in these corners. So right there in the middle, there's a little ladybug. I'm just adding just a little touch of graphite right there. And now I just want to blend that in using my tortillon to kind of soften it up. I now have my white chalk pencil, and I am just going to shade the inside of the outside edge of the frame. So I'm just going to the outside edge of where I just did the graphite. I wanted to add the white charcoal, and I couldn't figure out where I wanted to put it for a long time. I considered putting it in the various facets, and I just thought that's too much. So this is a great default if you ever are unsure of shading or highlighting, is just to shade or highlight the outside edge. And so now I'm just going to come in and soften that up a bit. I didn't feel like what I added was enough, so I'm coming in here and adding a little bit more of that charcoal, and you see that I'm pushing it onto this frame even more. So instead of just keeping to that outside edge, I am adding a little bit more of that white charcoal even in the middle of the frame. I now found my blue charcoal pencil and have decided to use it to add a little bit of shading around the Mythograph Tangle to really kind of, again, make it pop. I added the white ink earlier to the top of the Mythograph in those striations in the branches, but now adding a little bit of this darker charcoal around it will also bring it forward in the drawing. So I'm finding my tortillon that I have marked for this particular blue charcoal pencil, and I'm smudging it in, blending it in, really pushing that chalk into the fibers of the paper. And I also added some of that blue chalk out here to the branches on the sides. So just kind of underneath those branches to create a shadow and really bring it to the front of this drawing. All right, and the last little bit is to add a little bit of flair to these branches. I just felt like they needed a little something more. I felt like some of the blue got lost, and I really love this blue ink on this gray paper. So I'm going back in and just adding a little bit of a tangle enhancer, if you will. I'm just adding a little bit of flair, a little bit of fun, a little bit of this kind of spindly line growing from the end of the mythograph. You could choose not to, or if you wanted to join me in this little addition, it could be fun. You never know. And also, like I mentioned, because some of the blue got lost in this tangle, I'm going back in and I'm adding a little bit more blue ink to the Mythograph tangle. Not everywhere. I'm not retracing the whole thing, but coming in just a few little areas. And it actually adds great variation. So there's some heavier blue areas and then much lighter areas. And the reason this happened is because I used a number 10 white Jelly Roll pen, which is a very, broad tipped pen, and it didn't stay inside the small areas of the mythograph. But yeah, just a little bit more blue. All right, filling out the back, Inktober Tangles 2025, day 13, Mythograph Tangle. And also, if you wanted to write on here D1 as your fragment, you can reference that later too. And that is a wrap on day 13. Thank you all again for joining me, and I look forward to tangling with you again tomorrow for day 14. Have a good one.